I have a confession to make. I've been playing RuneScape on and off since 2007, which was when I was just 7 years old. My older brothers were always playing and I wanted to get in on the fun, using our shared Windows XP beast of a PC. But I never really took it seriously. I probably have made over 20 accounts over the years, as I would just play for a short time, never progress too far, and then just give up on the account and repeat that cycle for many years. That is until more recently, I watched one of Bodhi's PKing videos and wanted to replicate one of the accounts he was using, the Initiate Pure.
What's going on, guys? Bodhi here.
Initiate Pures keep a low defense, level 20, and use Initiate Armor, which has a great prayer bonus, so I set my goal of creating an Initiate Pure PKing account, and everything was going smoothly, and I was slowly but surely chipping away with training and questing the account up. Fast forward to around February of 2024, I was ready to acquire one of the last things I needed for the account, the legendary Fire Cape. Finally, I was ready to try some later game content that I had never done before. Throughout my 17 years of RuneScape, I always saw higher level players wearing this beauty of a cape and always dreamed of getting one myself. So this video is my journey to the Fire Cape. I knew it would be difficult to do my first Fire Cape with just a 20 defense account, so I did what any reasonable person would do, just jump right in after 5 minutes of research. I did know the basic premise though, fight through 63 waves with bats, blobs, rangers, meleeers, majors, and Jad. Simple enough, right? No. In reality, I had no idea what I was doing. I went into my first attempt excited but nervous and with my head held up high, slaying my way through all the bats, big blobs, smaller blobs, and rangers in the early waves, and it was going great until I found myself fighting a ranger and a major at the same time. And I lost track of my prayer and reacted too slowly, and that was the end of my first attempt. Dang. After my first attempt, I realized this would be more difficult than I originally thought. For my second attempt, I simply made a slight adjustment to my equipment using Blessed D-Hide chaps instead of Black D-Hide for the extra prayer bonus, and it seemed to work. I made it a bit further this time, to the point where there are all 3 attack styles on the battlefield. 2 rangers, a meleeer, and a major. But ultimately, I ran out of supplies, specifically Ceradome and Bruise, which is what I was using to gain health after taking damage, and I fell victim to the rangers while trying to tank them. I cried about it, and the stupid f***ing beekeeper asking for help was the icing on the cake. After my second attempt, I felt like I needed to make some big changes to my equipment. So for attempt number 3, I did make some major adjustments to my gear. I swapped out my Initiate Armor, which was lowering my range attack bonus, for an Armadillo Rope Talk and a Miter, which also has a great prayer bonus without harming my range attack bonus, but the swap did sacrifice some defensive bonuses. I also spent my entire bank on a Light Bearer for some extra healing. If you don't know, the Toxic Blowpipe has a healing special attack, and the Light Bearer increases your special attack restoration rate by 2 times. This would allow me to use the Blowpipe special attack twice as often, effectively doubling the healing it could provide for me. I thought the loss of defense bonuses was my demise, as once again I made it to a round with all 3 attack styles, mage, melee, and range, and I lost track of the meleeer while seeing red and trying to kill the ranger as fast as possible, as the ranger was who I fell victim to in my previous attempt. But this time I fell victim to the meleeer. After attempt number 3, I started to feel like I was progressing and getting better at the fight caves. I got ready for attempt number 4, thinking the adjustments I made for attempt number 3 were too drastic, so I decided to wear my Initiate chestplate again, or Hauberk for you nerds, and I kept the rest of my gear the same. This time around, I also started using the Fight Caves Waves plugin, which would tell me which monsters were going to spawn on the current wave, as well as what monsters would spawn in the next wave. And while the plugin was helpful, I ultimately didn't make it as far this time. I had so much healing left, but panicked and died on a round where it was just a major and a ranger. After attempt number 4, I started to feel hopeless and that I was wasting hours of my time doing this challenge that I would never complete. Spoiler alert, attempt number 5 was an absolute embarrassment. Everything was going great once again, made it all the way to wave number 50, thought I had a moment to set up my quick prayers, panicked, and then boom, dead in 5 seconds. It was a great run up to that point and I had so many supplies left. This made me realize that one simple mistake in the fight caves can end your run within seconds. And at this point, I was feeling really hopeless, but I figured I'd give the fight caves one last shot before giving up on my dream of getting the Fire Cape. And that brings us to attempt number 6, and you know what they say, 6 times the charm, right? Anyways, I did make some adjustments to my gear. I switched back to the Armadillo robe top as the initiate armor was really bringing down my range attack bonus and in turn killing my DPS. I also sold my light bearer and bought a Ring of Suffering. The Ring of Suffering has insane stat buffs across the board, which would hopefully help me out with better defense to make any potential mistakes more survivable. I also did a bit of studying. I finally watched a guide video, which I probably should have done from the start, which described the fight caves as a puzzle, which I think was the perspective I needed to progress further. I took this run very slowly, meticulously making sure I conserved my supplies as much as possible, very focused on my prayers and making sure I made no mistakes there as I made my way to Jad, slaying my way once again through all the bats, blobs, rangers, meleeers, and majors. I got further than I ever thought I would, and before I knew it, I was about to fight Jad. I finished wave 62 strong with limited supplies and immediately logged off, which was a little tip I learned from that guide I had watched. You are allowed to log out in the fight caves in between rounds and pick up right where you left off. Pretty neat. This was the first time I would see Jad with my own 2 eyes. I was so nervous. I ended up spending over an hour using this Jad fight simulator to get some practice with the prayer flicking required to defeat him. And after an hour or so of practice, I felt confident and ready to finish strong. I knew from the video that I had watched that when Jad reaches half HP, he would spawn some healers that I would need to kill or distract before I could do any damage on Jad. And I figured out a way to pick off a few of them, but then some of them were stuck behind Jad's fat ass. So to distract them, I just had to hit them once and then they were focused on me, but they couldn't get to me because they were stuck behind Jad. Once the healers were taken care of, I could solely focus on dealing damage to Jad. And slowly but surely, I was dealing the damage I needed while getting the correct prayers and he wasn't getting healed. And finally, we got him, boys.
I think I got him. I did it.
Let's
I did it.
Go!
Finally.
Holy shit, you're a beast.
I had done it. The sense of accomplishment I felt from that moment was like no other, and it is what kept me playing the game since. Since getting the fire cape, I've honestly lost a lot of interest in PKing, which is a little sad as that is why I made the account in the first place. Part of the reason for losing interest in PKing might be because I can't get more than 1 kill in an LMS game, but the main reason is because I never even thought of or realized how much content I was missing out throughout my 17 years of playing the game. And at this point, I've trained up a lot of my other stats, so this account is looking more and more like a main. But as it stands right now, my account still has the 20 defense restriction I set for myself, which is really holding me back on the content I can play, and also the content I can create for you guys. And I think I've finally decided I want this to be my main account. So let's break it, and what better way to do so than doing one of RuneScape's best and most prolific quests, Dragon Slayer. I've done Dragon Slayer at least 10 times on other accounts, but I was never able to do it on this one as the quest rewards a lot of defense experience. Elvarg has been slain, Dragon Slayer 1 done, and that's 35 defense. Might as well claim my Monkey Madness XP as well, that's 44 defense. Went ahead and grinded out some prayer, there's 70 prayer. Been doing some Slayer, and there's 60 defense. And finally, killing these Cyclopses to get my Dragon Defender, there it is, great progress. I feel so good having broken that, and I feel free from the restrictive chains of a PKing peer. This is going to open up so many more possibilities for my own RuneScape adventure. And if I ever do want to learn to PK, I can just make a new account. Thank you guys for watching. I know this was a bit different of a video than what I usually post, but I really hope you did enjoy it. I do hope to make more videos about my journey in the game, but don't worry, more money making and guide videos are on the way, so stay tuned for those. But if you did enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like and comment. That's all from me today. Till next time guys, peace.
What's going on, guys? But yeah.